Welcome to Warblog. I'm going to play another game. Before I do that, I just point out the German and Modern War is sort of, I've fixed the sort of linky thing. It should have worked because it was like a special bit of code from Amazon that you plonk in, but clearly wasn't working on my site. And well, so fast, but I click on it, but it'll take me to Amazon, but it has my name on it. Big letters, whatever, my address, so I don't want to do that. But I feel like playing something, but just as sort of a point of note, I looked at some news. I got up this morning actually, and I thought, right, I feel like writing a game, and this is what I did today actually. Did this, and this. I mean, this is hardly a game, but it's too hard to make it. These two are not particularly challenging, but so there's 5 things. But the thing is, I started the day off sort of both on a high note and a low note, really. A high note because I really felt like doing something. I was sort of like, I mean, to be quite honest, sometimes I wake up and I think, well, what would happen in life if you didn't really have anything to do? I mean, not that you didn't have anything to do, that you were, I mean, just without cutting things fine, you were an idiot, and you yet to sort of come up with something that you could occupy yourself with. I say that, it might sound, oh, that's really stupid, but quite often I think, well, hang on, if I wasn't doing this, what would I be doing? I would maybe be sort of, dreading the future, dreading the day. I mean, well, I'm referring directly, to the fact that we're in lockdown. Because I've sort of determined this. I mean, I don't watch TV, but there is only so much TV that a person can watch. There is only so much of sort of, most things in life are a distraction, a placebo. Most people go from one distraction to another without actually having any sort of like a burning passion to do something. I mean, I've always been involved with comics to some extent, and with that you leap out of bed, go to your drawing board and you draw for 16 hours, then you go back to bed, and when you do something like that, you're creating your own world. I don't do that. I don't do that at all anymore, really. But I say I don't do it as much because it's fully something I intend to do. I've got ideas always for projects, and I think I'll do that. But it takes so much time. This is easier. This is much easier and a little bit more rewarding, I think. Although maybe not. I mean, this is sort of more technical and pragmatic, whereas comics are more artistic. And if you're not very good at it, you can spend a lot of time and come up with something that is rubbish. And with this, I can't really fail. I can come up with scenarios that aren't that great, but they can always be tinkered with, and they can always be looked at in context. And it's not as critical that something looks fantastic. But I leapt out of bed, and I did feel that, I don't know, I don't want to say it the wrong way, but I did feel that what can I do? But the thing is, it was like second nature to start making a game, and I was really like into it. It was like I was going so fast, I could feel myself going really quickly. And I can't remember how I did it, but I found this scenario. Well, I know exactly how I did it. I found this link, and I read it. And it said, Yemeni forces wrest control over major base in Marib. So I thought, oh, it's a base in Marib. Yemeni troops backed by Allied... I couldn't figure it out, to be quite honest. Backed by Allied... Oh, yeah, another thing. Again, it's one of those spot the gun pictures. So they've all got their guns. AK-47, 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 AK-47. Oh, my God, 47. That's like a PS-41 or something. Yeah, so I thought I'd point that out. It's like I always big whatever these things are. But it says the Yemeni troops, backed by Allied fighters from popular committees, have taken control of a sprawling military base in the country's central province of Marib. Well, basically, long story short, I thought it is in Marib. So I thought it was the Marib army base, which is this scenario here. And I made it, and I put the army base there, because there is actually an army base there. Or at least I did a Google, and it indicates there's an army base there. So I put the army base there. And these were all popular committee units, apart from here. Yeah, I think they're all. And then just as I was finishing it, and as you can see, I put in loads of these things. I was really going for it. I was really sort of like, wow, this is fantastic. You know, there was no stopping me. It was going so quickly. You know, in comparison to sort of quite often when I do things and I'm just sort of like sluggish about things. It's a strange thing really, because I usually do games when I've got spare time, and not sort of when I just get out of bed. But so I put this together, and then I was looking, and I don't know, I was just looking for a bit more information. And it says and then it starts talking about so following fierce armed clashes with Saudi-sponsored militia men loyal to Yemen's former president Abd Rabbu Mansur Hadi. News outlets reported late on the Friday that Yemeni soldiers and allied fighters had established control over the strategic Maas base, which lies approximately 57 kilometres from the provincial capital of Marib. And I thought, oh, I've done it wrong. And it's not the first time I've done something wrong. So it's complete waste, really, because this isn't a scenario. But fortunately, this is the situation currently. I mean, they've got their sort of, because I did look at it up on live map. I did look at it, and it was, you know, this is how it is. So basically, you know, I'm fine with that. The only thing I did take is I took out the popular committee units, which were these, to replace them with these, so that, because there's no indication that they are there. And what I also did, I put a little bit in here, and then when I realised that, I upped it so that it's actually probably going to be pretty difficult for these units. So there's probably a balance there. And so then obviously I went in and did it. And then, well, the thing is, when you sort of look at it, Maas base, capture of Maas army base. There's 3 of these things in here. So there's, I thought the dates were working, but so there's obviously this one we're dealing with here, but they sort of, in theory, did it in April, September, and then they've actually done it in November. And each one is actually sort of very different. There's this one. There's the Maas base. It's actually on the road there. And I've played this a few times, I think. I seem to recall knocking these things out. Or not, I don't know. There's this one. And the base is off the road, which is more like it, and it's all hills. And they've got more of a position down here. Oh, this is that one there where we did that. So they took that and that. Where is it? Yeah, I think it is, because yeah. So I remember this one. And then there's this one which I did today, and I did it on a small map because I wanted to do it on a small map, because I was lamenting the fact that I never get to do these small games. I'm sick to death of these big games. So I did think it was fate or God driving me when I got out of bed to sort of like do what I wanted to do. So basically, the result of that is I have 2 new games. This is a small map. This is a slightly bigger map. This is a slightly bigger map. This is a small one. This is a small one. So, handy dandy sizes. So I think this might be quite playable, and it'd be interesting to see how it just works out. But I'm going to have a little blast on this, although it's getting a bit late. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, so late. Right, well, the thing is, we're trying to take the Maas base, and I've deliberately sort of made the base quite large. So you can see how it sort of differs map-wise. I mean, I think the other map was actually quite a bit better. But I also accidentally stacked them up with 4 lots of tanks, but I went through and edited them all, and I changed them all. I went through, I did the first one, did the second one, did the third one. I thought, I'll leave the 4th one in. So they've got 1 tank unit, but we've got engineers down here. But essentially, we've got to get through these earthworks. There's this place, which has decided they were probably fortified after all this time. Which is interesting, really, because this hex it goes straight onto that, but and we've got artillery. Well, the thing is, we've got engineers as well, so I think the engineers probably want to break through these earthworks somewhere, or even through there. So we can break through there with brute force, because there's earthworks in there as well. We need to break through and create a path. See, what we could do, we could just sort of move into here and here, and then next turn we would be in a position to attack. But basically, I think we need to sort of try and get our engineers in there, but they're not going to get anywhere that quickly because they're probably only going to move a couple of hexes. We could just we could try and cheat, move there, and then just sort of sidle around. But basically, we've got to break through this earthwork barrier, or we've got to have a strategy for it. But in the first instance, we could plonk all these into these 2 hexes, and I think that's what we might do, actually, because we don't really need to take this. It's not an objective. We can deal with that in due course. But what I am going to do, how much air defense have they got? 2. We fire my artillery onto here. And I'm going to use my drones. So these are the popular committees there. People's committees. I'll be able to do this, That's interesting. We've got 18. So presumably it was, I think what's happened there is we've got 20 because we've been upped, but we were down because they're in there by whatever that percentage is. There was some sort of downgrading of 20 by 10%. I think it might have been that. I can't remember what it does. That's interesting. It's a shame we didn't win. Is there a reason we won't go in there? Maybe the earthworks limits it. And there's 5 units in there, which is a bit odd. So he definitely can't get in there. So presumably the earthworks is limiting him. So let's see if we can move him into there. So that's that. Okay. Well, they're being attacked. Maybe we can bring these air defence units closer. Let's just stack them up there to start with. Okay. Well, I don't think I can really go wrong here, but I think I need to be stationary. Yeah. We can attack. How much movement have these got left? Not a lot. Oh, I think he's moved himself. No. So we've got some engineers in there. Let's move them there so he can build them. What's wrong with this? Okay. I'm going to sort of leave all this in there really, I think. But I'm going to use artillery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. There only were 4 in now. We can get a 1-to-1 at the very least. Oh, what? 0 damage all the way through. I'm not going to attack, but we could. We've got 2, but they're in earthworks. These are actually worth under the Houthi forces, so I give them the green to show that they're actually, in this case, aligned with the Houthis. I mean, not this time, but these are still weak stacks, you see, because they're just ones. They just got potency to attack, so it'd be interesting to see whether they can actually do this. So next turn, but we've got some reinforcements, look. Okay, did we consider that properly? Probably not. Do we want to attack? I mean, obviously we do, but do we want to? So they're going to be worth 4. We'll be worth 20, so that'll be 5 to 1. Do we want to take those odds? Could always move him across. I want to be certain about it, but I don't want to use my artillery or drones on this attack, because I think they're going to come in useful after. Yes, 7 to 1 over the dice roll of 1. And let's mop them up. Eliminated one of them. So we've got to keep the offensive going, because otherwise they will counter-attack. Okay, we've got good odds there. These units as well. Let's use the artillery here. That's convenient. 2 to 1 and an exchange. So again, we've made some progress, but it doesn't look astounding. Clearly broken through. Broken through there. But so, I mean, the question is, because the thing is, I think what we can do almost with some ease or certainty is counterattack, especially now we've got these units that can somehow sort of come into here. It looks as though they've got this unstoppable surge, but that's because they're irregulars and they get their bonuses against weak units. But if we can keep these stacked up to above 5 and counterattack with mobile units, we might be able to push them back and create a fight here. So now obviously we didn't want to move him out there, so we'll push him back. Let's just cycle. I don't know what this problem is. Okay, so we've managed to put him back in there. 2 air defense, we'll leave that. Okay, he's going to build something. Another engineer in there. Okay, so I've got these 2 units that can, in their own right, we can move there and there, and that would give us 2, 4 versus 2, so it'd be 2 to 1 in their own right. And that's a big stack. Here, I mean, we could. That's about the only place we're going to get the engagement, though. We've also got these guys who can attack out, and I think I might have to do it. We've got this unit here, so we could possibly go for this. But we've got artillery as well, so I think maybe to focus on maybe going in for that because it's a nice big stack. I think we're going to have to try and attack it. It will only be a 1-to-1 really. Okay, so let's at least position ourselves if we mean business. Taking damage, so we can't really use them. The problem is we don't really have enough to be doing lots of attacks. Okay, so the Houthis have not been that much really. I think because we only got 1 set of attacks there, and we've left these a bit vulnerable. And we've got so many more units coming through. Look, I think we're going to do a big assault here. Yeah, let's use the artillery first. Let's go back and use our drones. Just want to plough through this. Got one of them. Do we need to use the drone on the other? Probably not. Let's use the drone on. To be quite honest, it doesn't really make a lot of difference. We're going to get through that, aren't we? We're going to take it. Oh, he's on 9 depression. We'll probably kill him anyway. There's a lot of engineers. I'd use it on here, but the thing is, probably won't get more than 2, and so anything will be lost. We need it to be on something we're going to attack, and something that we're going to attack that's going to be a problem, but there really isn't anything that's going to be a problem. I don't want to attack these because the damage will be mitigated. We can either finish him off, try and put something on him, and commit these to attack that. That's probably the best thing. It would have been nice if we shot some of those drones down, because that would, that would be significant. Right. Well, let's take that. Should do it. Yes, eliminated. But probably can't move, but we can certainly continue the attack here. DE, so it allows us to move in there now. Stacking is limited there, but we can move him in there and him there. We'll just move them there for the time being. Just have to remember that we've still got some movement with that stack. So we can really push these across here. We've taken everything here. This guy I can't get to, but he's pretty much dead anyway. We don't have to worry about him. This guy, 9. Well, we can definitely take him out. I mean, we could probably do it in 1 unit, but might as well use. They've still got some movement. If he's at, yeah, I mean, one of these is going to do it. And I think I'd rather do it with him actually, or him. So I can move their attack, and that will leave these ones open to attack. Which one is it? I can never remember. Yeah, it's the one without the depressions. Eliminated. So, not much movement, but these guys do. Well, what we can do here? See, we won't be able to attack that stack. We can probably do this. So we pushed him back into there. But we can attack that. We don't have any movement there. Got enough to get these guys into there. And we can probably bring him round to there. And get reasonable odds. pushing him back. Might be worth the gamble, because they're basically worth 4, worth 5, so that'll be a 1-to-1. There. He's got 4 movement. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sod's law, really. Well, let's try and strengthen him up. Okay, so we can do this. Should be okay here. Yep, eliminated. Okay, let's get... Nope, they don't want to go in there. We've moved those. What about these? Well, that's pretty much everything moved up. So what does that leave the situation looking like? That's a fairly impressive swathe of things. So it's the Houthi turn. See, there's just too many of them. We've got this little unit who's still alive, but you know, we can't do everything with everyone. What can be it? See, he's got 3 depressions. 3, 1, 1. So if we go for this, 4 artillery. Let's see what we can do. So he's going to be worth half, and he's going to be worth, so they're going to be worth about 1. So we could get a 3-to-1 there. I think we'll try that. Okay, well, we've got an exchange, but one of them routed, so that's okay, not brilliant. Here, they're sort of fairly healthy, but we've got 4 units. I don't fancy my chances there. Okay, let's do both of these against that. Okay, so we've got a DR as a start. If I move in there, I should be able to get another attack on him. Push him back. I think I want to do that. Exchange, oh well. It's not good. Should have used him. Take a retreat, went back there. Oh, it's all going pear-shaped again. Okay, let's just use all of these. DR. Retreating into there and there. So let's do an attack on that. DE. Right, I want to move something onto there. Let's just do this one attack and exchange. I just need to be lucky, really. Right, and I'm going to send these as a stack somewhere against this lot. Well, he's a 4 and a 9, so we should be able to destroy that stack there. Keeping them together so they can't get attacked. Should get a DE. Both retreated into there. Well, they haven't got any more reinforcements, so that's at least a bonus. Taken a bit of a pounding, but they've still got a front line, still got a lot of relevant units. They won't be able to attack that though, and they won't be able to attack that. This is vulnerable, but they don't have a lot near it. You can always go around the top here. We'll try and push down here, but they're going to put these engineers to create an extra barrier there. We can demine in there and try and open up the road at least, and also open that up if we can. Start moving our artillery forward. Oh no, they're both there, look. Okay, how do we want to do this? Depression's 12, so he's out of it. Let's put him over here to represent that. Right, he's in good shape. Not so tough, but these are quite tough, so they could come around here. But do we want to use them for something? He's going to be worth 2.7. We're worth 15. Get an attack just like that. DE. I should have consciously stacked them with something else so they were invincible. It's just stupid to leave them like this. Fortunately, they're still alive, but they're not worth much. The best I can recover them down is to 7 depressions. Engineers are weak on their own. So eliminated that engineering unit. I sort of want to attack these units here. They're going to be worth 6. And I could possibly get everything I can surrounding it. Push him into there and him into there. Well, it's about as good as it's going to get. Should have saved out drones and things. That was a chance. Oh look, I didn't use them. Drats. Okay, well that's it. Right. I think the odds are not looking good, but we could probably fire at this stack. It would be nice to maybe eliminate units. Breaking out of here would be also preferable. Depressions 3, depressions 1. .8. I think I'm going to do 2 artillery on this. No. 4.85. do the rest on it as well, just because they are definitely beat. Two eliminations would have been good, but okay, we're going to have to go for these. Okay, so we've got we haven't eliminated them. So now we've got to start punching every direction we can. DE. So at least we didn't get an early exchange. Still leaves us vulnerable though. That was possibly not the best thing to have done, because they're just going to be able to do the same again next turn. Okay, engineers. Do what engineers do. Build earthworks. So it extends our line quite nicely. But we didn't get into any combat. If I really want to stick this guy somewhere safe. Two, three. That was fortunate. I've just had an idea. I think I might have said it so that the irregulars don't recover, because they're actually quite powerful. But and they don't take damage under certain circumstances, and it would sort of make sense that if they do take damage, that it's permanent, because they don't have the organisational ability to regroup, and not necessarily as regrouping isn't a voluntary matter, but for to be resupplied and regrouped and rewarded, at a sort of strategic level. Really, I think I might do that if I remember. But it's 54 minutes, and I don't think we've got the ability to attack that stack. That would be nice. We're 1-1. I don't want to try it. There's 54 minutes. I'm not going to do another round. So we could possibly attack that, but I don't really want to. Do I want to do that attack? So that's what it looks like at the end of turn 4, beginning of turn 5. I think the Houthis are going to win, but it's not been easy, and I've made a few mistakes. They should never have not had him stacked. They should basically, right from the beginning, each one of these mechanised and armoured units should have stacked up with a corresponding 2-2-2, making them all 5, which means they wouldn't have been eligible, and the only way they would have been able to be attacked is if they got the massive surround that they had there. And I think he could almost have guaranteed the Hadi defence working. It would have been a lot tougher, especially when you consider all the engineering works that they can build. But again, it's like 5 stars out of 5, so to speak, for a small game. I just love them. I love these small games. They seem to work for me. There's no scrolling around. I accept the sort of argument they're not particularly strategic. I always get this notion that people say, "Oh, they're just a puzzle game. You just got to sort of figure out how to do it." But I don't think they are a puzzle game, because I think there's enough complexity, there's enough ebb and flow with the battles. There's no way you can predict how it's going to go at this stage. We're 5 turns in. There's no way I could have said, "Oh, if I do this, then it will end up like this in turn 5." No way. There's just too much random chance involved with each of the sort of the particular elements of the conflict, so to speak. The battles. So I don't think it's a puzzle game in that sense. I mean, there is even scope for strategy. Whether you go sort of north and around here, down here, there's a lot of ways to do this. But no matter how you look at it, I think this is a top game. I think that it's certainly what I prefer to do in the space of an hour. And we haven't even finished it in an hour. I mean, the thing is, I never really play these without doing the videos. Very, very, very seldom. And I do have a sort of I enjoy doing them, and one of the things that I do enjoy doing is doing them again. And also, what I appreciate and I'm aware of is that you don't have to complete a game to appreciate it and to play it and to enjoy it. Maybe that's because I'm a bit old, but you can sort of do this and you sort of, I didn't have to finish it. I think, I don't want to say when I was younger, but I think I'm quite inclined to sort of, I know when I'm playing games, I have to go to the end and finish it. That's what I'm like. When I used to play Civilization on the computer, it would take me, I could play for 3 days almost non-stop. And the thing is, I'm not sure at what point, but at a certain point you've won. But the thing is, you have to finish it, and that could take not hours. I mean, you could spend half a day finishing it, because there's no way that the remaining empires can beat you. They're fragmented, and you've got the advantage, but you still got to finish it, because there's like 30 cities that you don't control, and that it takes time. Whereas because of the limit of this video, 1 hour, I can't really go over that. I can't do this until the very bitter last counter. And I think, so it's either my mental discipline or that limitation. But either way, it's, it works for me. I think an hour to play a game is quite good. And I think a lot of these games on the market, they require hundreds of hours. And I think that's stupid. But it was 59 minutes, so I'll leave it at that. Speak to you later. Cheerio.